This is New Zealand's tallest mountain, Mount Cook. Mount Cook is located at 43.6 degrees south and 107.1 degrees east. Mount Cook has an average temperature of 47 degrees Fahrenheit. Also, Mount Cook has about 184 days of rain a year. Today, I will tell you why Mount Cook's climate is so rainy and cold. Before I tell you why Mount Cook's climate is so rainy and cold, you must first understand the main 5 things that affect climate. Latitude affects climate, elevation affects climate, ocean currents affects climate, global winds affects climate, and proximity to water affects climate. Let's first start debunking why Mount Cook's climate is so rainy and cold by looking at latitude. Mount Cook is at about 43.6 degrees latitude to the south, so it is pretty close to the equator. Yet, it's still pretty cold and rainy. One thing that can help us explain why it is really cold is our second major climate affector, elevation. Elevation helps us explain why it is cold because the higher you go up in elevation, the colder it gets. The reason elevation affects Mount Cook is Mount Cook is really high up in elevation. It is 12,218 feet in elevation. That would be the reason that Mount Cook is super cold. Now to the third major climate changer, global winds. Since Mount Cook's latitude is about 43.6 degrees south, it is located in the north of a feral cell. This shows that Mount Cook's climate should be warm and dry, but it's not. It's rainy and cold. Another reason Mount Cook isn't dry and warm is the mountains around it. The mountains around it makes the air rise so that it becomes moisturized and it makes it rain. This counters global winds by making it so that the air around Cook Mountain is moist and it rains a lot. Now on to the last 2 things that affect climate. The last 2 things that affect climate are ocean currents and proximity to water. The reason these things don't affect Mount Cook are 1. Mount Cook isn't next to a large enough body of water so that it affects the climate, and 2. Mount Cook isn't really close enough to an ocean where ocean currents affect it. Therefore, these 2 things do not affect Mount Cook's climate. Now you know why Mount Cook has a wet and cold climate.